AITA for telling my sister the truth about our family. I'm 29 and my sister, Emily, is 24F. Growing up, our family dynamic was complicated. My mom always favored Emily, and it was obvious. I'd get grounded for leaving a glass on the table while Emily could throw a tantrum and get a new toy. My dad mostly stayed out of it, probably to keep the peace. Despite that, I've always tried to be a good older brother, even if it felt like I was constantly walking on eggshells around everyone. Things came to a head this Christmas. For some context, I've been in therapy for a few years now, trying to unpack the resentment I've felt about my childhood. My therapist suggested setting boundaries, which I've been working on. This was my first Christmas hosting at my new house with my fiancée, Lily. I wanted everything to be perfect, so I invited my parents, Emily, and a few close friends. The day started off fine, but things took a turn when Emily arrived late, as usual, and immediately started complaining about the food. Lily and I had spent all morning cooking, and Emily loudly declared that the turkey looked dry. My mom chimed in, agreeing with Emily and suggesting we should have let her bring the food instead. I bit my tongue and tried to keep the mood light. Later, while we were opening presents, I noticed Emily's gift to Lily was a cheap, tacky kitchen gadget, the kind you'd find in a bargain bin. Meanwhile, my mom had bought Emily an expensive designer bag. I couldn't help but feel the old resentment bubbling up. Why was Emily always treated like royalty while I had to fight for scraps? The breaking point came after dinner. Emily casually mentioned that she'd moved back in with our parents because she'd lost her job. My mom immediately jumped in, reassuring her that it was fine and that they'd support her no matter what. I asked Emily what her plan was, and she shrugged, saying she'd figure it out. My dad, for once, spoke up, saying it might be good for Emily to start looking for a new job soon. My mom shot him a death glare, and Emily stormed off in tears. After everyone had left, Emily called me, crying, saying she felt attacked and unsupported. She asked why I'd been so harsh and why our parents were suddenly being mean to her. That's when I snapped. I told her that maybe she was finally getting a taste of what it was like to not be the golden child. I reminded her of all the times she'd been favored and how I'd been treated like an afterthought. I told her it was time to grow up and take responsibility for her life. Emily was silent for a moment before hanging up. The next day, my mom called, furious, saying I had ruined Christmas and emotionally damaged Emily. She demanded I apologize, but I refused. I told her that I was done pretending everything was fine and that Emily needed to hear the truth. Now my family is divided. My dad quietly told me he understands where I'm coming from but wishes I'd handled it differently. My mom and Emily aren't speaking to me, and even Lily thinks I might have gone too far by bringing up old wounds on a holiday. I'm starting to wonder if I was too harsh or if this was a long overdue reality check. So Reddit, AITA for telling my sister the truth about our family dynamics and potentially ruining Christmas?